Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Automated vehicles will change the way drivers interact with their cars. With the introduction of Level 3, we will finally be able to engage in all sorts of activities while the vehicle takes care of the driving task. So drivers will be out of the loop and will not be required to attend to the driving environment and the actions of the automated vehicle. However, and this is a pretty important, however, in Level 3, drivers will still be required to take back control of the vehicle when prompted by a takeover request. And the question is this feasible? Can we safely get drivers out of the loop and expect them to take back control? Will Level 3 ever be safe enough? Well, I do not have an answer to this question, unfortunately, but I'm sure that we can all agree that there is still no consensus on how smooth and safe transfers of control can be achieved. My name is Francesco Walker. I'm an assistant professor of Leiden University, and today I will introduce a new idea that we believe could lead to faster and potentially safer transfers of control. Now, what we did is exploit results from the large literature on peripersonal space. So what are we talking about? Well, peripersonal space is the space immediately surrounding our body and reachable by a single arm movement. So it's the space in which we can perform actions. Now, peripersonal space has a very cool and important property, and that's plasticity. Peripersonal space can be modified, extended by experience. And just let me give you an example of how this actually works. Well, professional baseball players will perceive a baseball bat as an extension of their own arm. And so tools such as the baseball bat, by allowing us to reach otherwise unreachable space, modify our body schema. But is a vehicle just like a baseball bat? Well, although there is a vast amount of literature showing that the use of tools extends peripersonal space, almost nothing is known about how the use of vehicles affects perceptions of our own body. But, well, I feel quite confident when I say that, in my very personal opinion, it is likely that Max Verstappen or Valentino Rossi, that I personally prefer, it is likely that they do perceive their vehicles as an extension of their own body. And my question is, what are the benefits that can derive from this unique bonding between human and vehicle? Now, interestingly, there are several ways for which peripersonal space can be altered. And well, a classic example is the rubber hand illusion. Some of you might be familiar with this. When a rubber hand is stroked synchronously with the participant's hand, participants perceive a rubber hand as their own. But interestingly enough, when the stroking is asynchronous, this illusion disappears, and so you do not perceive the rubber hand as your own anymore. Now, research has shown that similar illusions can also be induced without actual physical touch. And so participants can perceive the body of a virtual avatar as their own if the avatar flashes synchronously with the participant's heartbeat or with the participant's breathing pattern. And so we thought, can we take advantage of similar techniques to improve the interaction between drivers and automated vehicles? More specifically, could synchronizing the driver's breathing pattern with visual feedback displayed inside the vehicle lead to faster takeovers? Well, to answer this question, we tested 27 students, 27 participants. We asked them to sit in our driving simulator And well, this is a very, let's say, straightforward setup that relies on a VR headset to display the virtual environment. And we placed around participants' waist a respiratory belt. The respiratory belt allowed us to synchronize participants' breathing pattern with visual feedback displayed inside the car. So let me tell you something about the task. Well, the task was pretty straightforward. Participants were asked to take back control of the automated vehicle, simulating level 3, when the takeover request was issued. So participants would manually drive the vehicle for 3 minutes, after which automated driving would be activated. The takeover request was issued after 15 minutes of automated driving, and participants were instructed to take over as fast as possible to avoid crashing in the barrier that was on their driving lane. Okay, so this was the procedure, but let me show you how the experiment actually looked like. Now, we used blue ambient lighting to indicate to participants that the automated driving mode was activated. So, when the car was in automated mode, ambient lighting was displayed throughout the entire vehicle cockpit. So, on the windshield, on all the windows, and on the floor mats. So feedback was always visible, even when participants stopped paying attention to the road. We divided our 27 participants into 3 different groups. In the sync group, and well, that's our experimental group, when the vehicle was in automated mode, cockpit lights pulsed synchronously with participants' breathing pattern. We had 2 different control conditions. In the random group, as the name suggests, cockpit lights pulsed following a randomized pattern. And finally, in the repetitive group, cockpit lights pulsed in a constant frequency. The takeover was the same for all groups and consisted in the sudden and rapid flashing of the cockpit lights. We expected that an extension of driver's peripersonal space would arise in the sync group, and we hypothesized that the sudden disruption of the synchronized pattern would lead to faster reaction times when participants were asked to take back control of the vehicle. And, well, this is what we found. Now, given the small sample size, our results need to be interpreted with caution. But they do suggest that participants in the sync group reacted a lot faster to the takeover request compared to participants in the 2 control conditions. To be more precise, participants in the sync group took back control of the vehicle 2.8 seconds after that the takeover request was issued. And that's exactly 1 second faster when compared to participants in the repetitive group, and 1.4 seconds faster when compared to participants in the random group. I would also like to mention that while only 1 participant in the sync group crashed, 3 participants crashed in each of the 2 control conditions. And this suggests that our manipulation is not only leading to faster, but also safer takeovers. Finally, it's important to realize that none of our participants reported being aware of the manipulation. So none of them noticed that the cockpit lights were synchronized with their breathing pattern. And this leads to my conclusion. I strongly believe that the safe interaction between drivers and automated systems requires new design solutions. In this study, we provided preliminary evidence that keeping the driver unconsciously connected to the vehicle could facilitate faster and potentially safer transfers of control. Now, I have a hunch that there's a lot more that can be done by exploiting and enhancing the connection between the driver and the vehicle. Well, I would love to hear your ideas about this during our Q&A session. Thank you very much.